Sponsored by rxcardclub.com. Get a free prescription drug card and save up to 85% on prescription drugs. rxcardclub.com. Fairview Racing. Gone with the Wind, The Citizen. There's a lot of hot air in horse racing. Opinions and arguments, even the loud shouting, is part of the game's DNA. But when nature cuts in to have its say, things can veer off course. Strong winds brought a premature end to the race meeting at Fairview in Kibeha on Monday, with jockeys saying they feared being unseated and injured as 50 to 70 km/h gusts swept across the polytrack. Some observers reckoned the funneling effect of wind between the grandstands pushed up the speed as high as 100 km/h. Wind-stopped play is not a common thing in South Africa, which is probably why some frustrated punters started cranking up the old chorus about jockeys being wimps and not as professional as their overseas counterparts. The truth is that blasts of air hitting horses in the finishing stretch were blowing them off their chosen galloping paths. Even on TV it looked dangerous. Jockey Craig Zaki, who won 3 of the 4 races completed, said, "The wind is really strong out there, and as you turn for home the wind is blowing us straight to that inside rail." Wind blowing racing away, while uncommon, is not unheard of globally. A quick Google search reveals meetings being abandoned due to high winds in recent years in Australia, Canada, the US and the UK. A day's racing at the massive Cheltenham meeting in 2008 was lost due to gale force blasts in the Cheltenham Hills. A British sports website lists the most common racing disruptors as unsafe ground, too soft or too hard, snow, frozen ground, waterlogged ground, high winds and high temperatures. Rare spoilers are an absence of medical staff or an ambulance, disease and bomb threats. It might have added threats of track sit-ins by animal rights protesters, which has become a thing in the UK. In South Africa we can add lightning to that list. Getting buffeted by wind can put one in a bad mood. Perhaps that was what happened to the Stipes at Fairview, who handed jockey Eldin Webber a R3,000 fine for what they said was a frivolous objection after race 3, in which he finished second on the breezily named mare Mediterranean Goddess. It was not a forfeit of the objection fee, which is the usual punishment when the fuzz reckon their time has been wasted. A fine suggests real annoyance. Watching the race video replay, you can see what Zaki was on about, and Webber for that matter. Mediterranean Gods and Webber lead into the straight, Jambosana and Zaki pull wide on the turn for a run but veer inwards as they hit the wind. Mediterranean Gods is crossed, no question, but seems to be travelling much slower than her rival and gets left floundering as Jambosana streaks away to win by 3.75 lengths. When we speak of wind and racing, Cape Town immediately springs to mind. A headwind or tailwind is very often a significant factor when studying a race card. If a runner can find cover,